to Coach's Corner, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, here along with my defensive secondary coach at the University of Alabama, Lewis Campbell. Coach, thanks so much for being on the show.
You bet. Hey, I'm excited to be here.
Oh, my gosh, Coach. You know, here on Coach's Corner, we try to inspire and educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, and the body to act. We're going to take the next 30, 45 minutes, Coach, and talk about your amazing career. And I want everybody to learn a little bit about you because, you know, we probably both think the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You grew up in Hamburg, Arkansas. Talk about your mom and dad and your siblings.
Well, I was raised in a town of about 2,800 people, so obviously wasn't real big. My father ran I don't know what it'd be called today, maybe a mini Walmart. He sold everything from nails, plumbing, toys, to pipe fittings. I mean, if you could buy it, he sold it.
How about your brother? How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I have one sister 3 years older, and I have one sister 3 years younger than I. No brothers.
Oh, my gosh. Coach, talk about growing up in Hamburg. Did you play multiple sports in high school?
Oh, yeah. Hey, if you were in Hamburg, you had to play all sports, so they wouldn't have enough to play. But, yeah, we played all sports. You know, I always liked football a little more than the others, and I certainly wasn't fast enough to be a track star or couldn't shoot good enough to be a basketball star. So you could run around and hit somebody and be a decent football player.
Coach, talk about your high school team. Were they good? Talk about your teammates. Your coach, was your high school coach a big influence on you?
Yes, he was. He was a great influence. He was the track coach. So if you played football, you better run track. If you didn't run track, you can practice football, but you're not going to play. So, you know, we had a lot of tracksters out back then, but hey, a great influence. His wife was my typing teacher in high school. So it was a family that I was close to and still am close to their children that they raised.
Well, what classification was your high school? Was it one of the smaller 1 or 2A teams?
Yes, it was a Class A. They did have a Class B back then. It was not 8-man football like they have some of now, but yeah, it was a Class A high school classification.
How did you get recruited to Arkansas, and why did you pick Arkansas? Or was it because your home state, or the only one that recruited you, or what?
Well, you know, I made an official visit to Mississippi State. After that, I made an unofficial visit to Southern State, which you've never heard of because that's in Magnolia, Arkansas, and one to UAM, which was in Monticello, which were, you know, Division II or III or whatever they were back then. So, yes, the only real school that recruited me as far as a Division I school was the University of Arkansas.
Oh my God, Coach! And you couldn't play as freshman, so you played 3 years, and 12 interceptions in 3 years, Coach. Did you have a nose for the ball, or were you just good technical wise, fundamental wise?
Well, I think it was mostly a matter of back then, the only people that really threw the ball a lot were not very good teams. You know, everybody was stressed and everybody was running the football. So, you know, I intercepted 3 passes in one game and never had double-digit return yardage. So that kind of tells you all you need to know right there.
Coach, you dove for 2 of those interceptions against Tennessee in the Liberty Bowl.
Well, a fast guy probably would have not broken stride. So, you know, you're giving me the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, my gosh. Talk about the benefit of the doubt. Let's get into it right now. We got so much to talk about, but how did a slow, fat, dumb, weird, wild, weak, walk-on like myself ever get to play for you, Coach?
Hey, you were a good football player. That's why you were coachable. You had great technique. You learned, you listened, and you played in front of a lot faster guys than you were. So,
Oh my
You
gosh.
know, at any level, you find somebody that can listen, learn, do what you're asking him to do. Eventually, he'll play.
Oh my gosh, Coach! I guess you were patient with me. It only took me 3 years to get on, man. Thanks for that. Before we get into all this, and we got so much to talk about, and I want to thank you, folks. Folks, we're with Coach Lewis Campbell, longtime college football coach, of course, at Bama for many years, and his alma mater, Arkansas, for many years. You're also with the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma State University. But I want to talk a name and give me like a sentence or two to describe each one of these amazing people, Coach. All right, we'll start with our favorite, Paul Bryant.
There's not one word that can describe him. I mean, it would take 30 minutes. Probably the best thing I could say is I've got one picture in my house that has anything to do with football, and it's a picture of him on the sideline. So that tells you what me and my family all thought about him, and, just unbelievable. I mean, the things he did that nobody ever knew would have made somebody else a Hall of Fame person. But you never found out all the things he did.
Coach, I tell stories about him almost every day of my life, not just because I do a podcast, but because I see friends and neighbors and family. And just yesterday, I was telling somebody about him establishing the A Club after his favorite player, Pat Trammell, passed away with cancer. He loved Pat. And I wanted to take care of Pat's family, but he actually put $1 million in for my kids. For anybody that played for him, their kids could go to school at the University of Alabama. And I told somebody that yesterday, and they were flabbergasted by that contribution that he did. Nobody knows about stuff like that.
That's right. And they would have been flabbergasted at a whole lot of things, you know, if they were close enough and knew all the things he did for his former players, because, you know, he'd try to kill you while he was there, but when you left, he'd fought it for you. So, he was an amazing person.
Coach, what was he like in staff meetings? I mean, did you have to be on point with every player and in every situation? What was he like in staff meetings?
In staff meetings, there was total silence unless he specifically asked you a question. For instance, one day we were talking about Joey Jones, and you know, he was a small receiver, and I don't know, Coach Bryant said something about him, and Bobby Marks, who was the receiver coach back then, said, "Coach, I agree." And I mean, Coach Bryant snapped back and he said, "I don't give a damn if you agree or not." so the comments were few and fewer between in his meetings.
Oh my gosh! I just gave that advice to Chris Good, who I think is getting the Miles College job since Sam Shade took the Alabama A&M job. I think Chris Good is getting the head coaching job there at Miles College. So I gave him some advice. I said, "Listen, hire great assistants, let them do their job, but make sure that they know what they're talking about, because." You know, you don't want yes men. You don't want yes men, right, Coach? Coach Bryant wants somebody who is smart and speak their mind.
Absolutely. I mean, he wanted you to know what you were talking about, but you know, don't try to bluff him because he'd call it in a hurry. Hey, what was Chris Good's brother's name?
Look, Kerry Good.
Kerry Good. Yeah, I recruited those guys. But now, what is Kerry Good doing now?
Coach, you got to watch my show on Monday nights to find out. He has ALS.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Coach, he wrote a book called Good and Faithful Servant, and that's what our Monday night show is about, Good and Faithful Servant. And we talk about faith. Well, we talk about faith, family, and football and virtues, Coach. You would love that show. Tune in Monday nights.
Hey, listen. I certainly will. Unbelievable.
Yep. Yeah, he's an amazing guy. Coach, you will love his wisdom. Pick up that book. You'll love his book, Good, Goode. What an amazing family, Coach. 4 boys from the same family, and their first cousin, Antonio Langham, who just got inducted into the College Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Antonio.
Wow, how about that? Didn't know that.
Coach, 30 for 30 should do should do a special on that family. They're an amazing family. Their mom and dad are still alive. Clyde Jr. passed away of cancer, but Carrie's an amazing person. Thanks for asking. All right, let's continue with the names. We could go a whole show on Coach Bryant, Coach.
You got that right.
Ray Perkins.
Intense,
yes, hardworking.
You pass him in the hall, and he may speak to you or may not. And it wasn't that he, just didn't like you, but I mean, his mind was about 3 steps ahead of everybody else.
Ken Donahue.
Gosh, great football coach. I mean, if there was ever a man made to be an assistant football coach, a defensive coordinator, it was him.
Coach, he picked me up in Birmingham in 1980, August 1980, and I got off the plane. I thought I was 8 miles from the sun, Coach. I had never been south. I had never been south of the Mason-Dixon line, and he took me all the way from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa, and I didn't hear 3 words the whole time. And I was like, I thought I had landed in another country, and I was like, what did I get myself into? All right, Sylvester Croom.
Great person, great friend. I got to work a year for him at Mississippi State, and then, he got fired the second year, but hey, unbelievable person.
Jack Crow.
Well, I'm not sure of that. He was kind of like Ray. He was very intense, very opinionated, but kind of got the short end of the deal here at Arkansas.
Frank Broyles. Your coach, Frank Broyles.
A CEO in football before that was, in tune with being a head coach. I mean, he was a great delegator, and yet, he knew all the positions.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't coach anything but DBs. Nothing but DBs.
Me neither. And there's a lot of people question whether I did that. So,
Coach, hey, let's go right off on a vein right there while we're talking about it, because it's a good transition to say, for me to thank you, because, man, when I played in the pros, you were better than my Canadian Football League and my National Football League coach. You were better, Coach. You taught me everything I knew about technical football. It was a ripple effect, Coach. I taught to all my kids in 20 years that I coached. I taught them only what you taught me. So I guess it worked.
Well, I think you're getting old enough. You forget things too, but I appreciate the compliment.
Oh, my gosh. All right, let's go on with these amazing players. Tommy Wilcox.
The greatest player that wasn't fast enough or big enough or strong enough, but he got it done.
Wow. Kind of like Pat Trammell. That's how Coach Bryant described Pat Trammell. That's a huge compliment, Coach, because that's how he said Pat. Pat couldn't run fast, couldn't throw the ball pretty, but he just won. Jeremiah Castile. I learned how to play strong safety from Tommy, and I learned how to play cornerback from Jeremiah Castile.
Yep. A great person, quiet, just went out there and did his job. Coach Bryant's last game, it was the Liberty Bowl, playing Illinois. Jeremiah had 3 interceptions going into the fourth quarter. I told him, I said, hey, you get close to a ball this quarter and break my record, and I'm taking your butt out.
Coach, I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that story, that you said that to him. You go, oh, my gosh. He was so fun. He was so mature, man, back then. He tied your record. I didn't even know about your record. You didn't talk about your record going into that week, but I do remember doing sprints after Christmas. And Coach Perkins or Coach Bryant told Al Miller to run us in that gym or wherever we were. But remember that, Coach?
Oh yeah. And hey, Coach when you Bryant, were around Al Miller, you were around a great one right there.
Coach Bryant said, Al, I told you to run him, not to kill him.
Yeah. I figured he'd have said kill more than one.
Oh, let's go on with a couple more DBs because that's who we coach. That's who we played with and coached. Benny Perrin, God rest his soul. Benny Perrin.
Hey, just a guy that did what he was supposed to. I mean, it's kind of like you never knew what he was thinking, but by the same token, he just went out there and played well.
Yeah, you ended up in the right place at the right time, right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Jim Bob Harris.
A guy, when he first started, I probably wanted to hit him in the head with a baseball bat. But, as time went on, he was another guy that, he was a great player coming out of high school, and he worked hard. He did the things that he did to take care of himself to be a good player. But,
Yep.
He's kind of one of those guys that he was a good player and he knew it. And you just kind of wanted him to not think a little less of himself than he really did. Am I wrong?
No, how about just the opposite? How about Ricky Thomas?
Oh, hey. Well, like you said, you couldn't get him to say anything if he had a mouth full of it, But, hey, another one of those players like Jeremiah Castile, never said anything.
Right.
But, boy, you wanted your kids to grow up to be like him.
Absolutely, Coach. Absolutely. Cornelius Bennett.
If you could fashion a football player and put him together, hey, he'd be a great player today. I don't care who you were playing for or against. just an unbelievable player.
He could play in any generation. Good description of him, Coach. Major Ogilvy. Oh, no, I lost him. Gosh. Maybe we'll get him back. Man, that was going good. Oh, we got you back. Major Ogilvy, Coach.
All right. I'm sorry, say it again.
Major Ogilvy.
Well, obviously didn't coach him, but I tell you what, he bailed us out of some bad defensive games because, in one way he was kind of like Tommy Wilcox that,
right.
He wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the biggest, but boy, did he run and play hard.
Oh my gosh! In Stedman Shealy, just a great quarterback. Talk about you named one of your sons after. Was it after Stedman?
Well, it really wasn't after him per se, even though you would pray and hope he'd grow up and be just like him. But we just liked the name. But again, a guy you knew he was going to be a success. I don't care how old he was. He went about things the right way.
Wow. Coach, how did you get in this coaching? When did you realize when you got out of playing at Arkansas, how did you get into coaching and who inspired you? Who was your champion?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know that, I guess I probably filtered down into coaching because I could never make a good grade in the in the sciences or to be an engineer, doctor, or whatever. But I don't know, athletics was just all I liked. I knew I didn't want to go back to Hamburg and, get into the furniture and hardware business. But and I don't know that any one person convinced me other than I guess I was fortunate because I had so many, from junior high, high school, college. I just had so many great influences that it really wasn't so much that I wanted to be like them, but it was like, I want to be what they are. I want to be in that area.
1977-79, you're a DB coach at SMU. Was that your first Division I job? And how did you get that break?
Well, there was a guy named Pat Jones who was an assistant there, who later went on to be the head coach at Oklahoma State when I was the coordinator there. But he was from Little Rock, and we knew each other. We weren't in college together, but that was really the connection. And went to SMU when Craig James, Eric Dickerson were there. And as I tell people, we were in charge of the NIL before anybody else even knew what NIL was, if you get my drift.
Oh my gosh. Coach, I use some of the same, the same sayings that that you have with my players that I coached, and I appreciate everything that you did for me. I learned also that to be a good coach in practice, you should push them, work them hard, cajole, sell, be really, really hard on them, tough. And then in the games, you have to have a different demeanor with them. You got to be open, communicative with them, friendly, supportive, all that. I learned that from you, Coach, and it worked when I coached my kids, because you have to be, you got to make practices hard. Is that right, Coach?
Well, that's right. At least if you coach him for Coach Bryant, you did. But, I don't know that I was all those things, but what you said was exactly right in terms of, how to approach it and what to expect out of them and what to push them to, because not many of us get very far in life when everybody's telling you you're such a great guy and smart and all that stuff. You got to dig deep sooner or later.
Yeah. Well, I'm very grateful, Coach, for you for seeing something in me I didn't see myself. And
I appreciate it. Hey, it wasn't hard because all those other coaches felt the same way. And obviously, another thing made Coach Bryant great. Nobody went into the game unless he sent them.
Oh.
I mean, except for the kicking teams. Jack Rutledge at that time did that, but I mean, not an offense or a defensive player went into that game unless he went to that position coach and said, put these guys in next series.
Oh, my God.
That's unbelievable there. I don't know anybody that's ever done that.
Oh, my gosh, Coach. Thank you for sharing that story. I did not know that. I never knew that.
Yep. I mean, hey, you may not have one other, let's say, safety on the field, but if that guy went out there and broke his leg, you didn't put that next one in until he told you to.
Because I can't believe it. When I had when I finally made the roster, my third year, sophomore, we're going up to Atlanta to play Georgia Tech, and I was just happy to be on the traveling squad, backing up Stan Gay corner. Yep. And then the first quarter, the first game, one of my teammates, Coach, nudged me and said, Coach Bryant's calling you. I said, is he saying Tripodi? Has he got my name right? I was like, he can't be calling me. It's the first quarter of my first game I ever dressed. And, Coach, do you remember that first game? Did he tell you, or did you tell him to put me in and again just to test, or what would happen? You don't remember that, I know, but.
I don't remember, but I can guarantee you this. I didn't tell him anything. I sat there and listened for what he said. And when he told me, then I did it. But I guarantee you, it wasn't a suggestion even.
Okay. I'll tell you another story. It was I think it was Ole Miss that year, early in the year. We played them in Jackson, Mississippi, and Ole Miss was driving on us, and he put in the whole second string. Remember, he would do that and I went in the second string, and the first play was a slant to my guy, and I broke it. I read the 3-step drop, and I get there probably a split second before the ball did, and they threw a flag at me. And Coach Bryant said, damn it, everybody out. He put everybody in. Coach, he put everybody in for one play and then took everybody out.
I don't doubt it one bit.
Coach, I wanted to dig a hole and crawl in it,
No kidding. Hey, there's a lot of people talking about wanting to dig a hole. John Mitchell, who's been with the Cleveland Browns forever, and I guess still with them in a managerial position. But anyway, he was coaching defensive ends, and, Coach Brown was always up on that tower. And I don't remember who it was, but John Mitchell, he was bragging about that. Oh, that's a great job, great play. And except John didn't hear those steps coming out of that tower like everybody listened to. And right behind him was standing Coach Bryant, and he said, I don't think that was worth a SH, what. And I mean, John Mitchell never broke stride. It was, get back down there, damn you, I've told you that 1,000 times, And I mean, all the other coaches are just rolling out on the field. But, you had to listen for him coming out of that tower.
Oh, you didn't know if he was coming down for a coach or a player. Exactly. You didn't even know. I heard him come down to Mel Moore and get on Mel Moore one time. Oh, my gosh.
there's no question. And I guarantee you, you knew where your guys were and you knew where he was on every practice match.
It looked like he was looking at you every play, and but he wasn't. 99% of the chance he wasn't looking at you at all.
That's right.
Oh,
That's exactly right. Yep.
All right, Coach, man. Thank you so much for being you, man. One more thing, couple more questions. Do you have any advice for young coaches, young maybe DB coaches that you could give a piece of advice to?
Well, Coach Bryant told me this early on too. Is that, hey, if you can do anything else in this world and be happy, do it. But if you can't, coach and don't look back.
Coach, you took his advice, that's for sure. One last question. Who would be great to have on Coach's Corner? Who would be great to have on the podcast? What guest?
Oh, my goodness. Of course, I don't know where. I mean, the people that I, was under and grew up under coaching-wise, the Pat Dyes and the Bill Olivers. And, of course, I know Coach Donahue's gone. He's passed.
Right.
Miles passed.
Nope.
There's not many left, but
nope, there isn't, Coach. But I'm thankful you're here, and it was great to have you on, and I appreciate you, for all that you did for me in my career, in my life, and hundreds of other kids, Coach. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Hey, great to be with you. I've
great.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
God bless you, Coach.
You too. Bye-bye.
God bless you, Colin. Bye-bye. Coach Lewis Campbell, man, what a great coach he was. I learned everything from him. Thanks for watching Coach's Corner, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for these messages. Remember, if you like this podcast, like it, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Yeah, share the show with your Facebook friends, because Coach Lewis Campbell is a funny guy, and he did a lot for college football, a lot for me in my career. So stay tuned for these important messages from our sponsors. Have a great sports weekend, everybody. See ya.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at hillkellydodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
75 years of service in high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple pane of brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
Barnes Heating and Air is a proud sponsor of Alabama football, serving the entire Pensacola community for over 50 years. Barnes Heating and Air is passionate about providing customers with world-class air conditioning and heating repairs, sales, and installation. Barnes Heating and Air is family-owned, insured, and committed to quality. For a free estimate, call 478-0141. Barnes Heating and Air is #1 in customer service with service calls 7 days a week. Call Barnes Heating and Air, 478-0141, and roll Tide.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We sell fun for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.